loves, this is Bobby and I'm here with another video. And yes, this is another readathon TBR video. This is one of the other ones that I was super excited about when I found out about it. This is another month-long readathon starting from the 1st to the 31st of October, and that is going to be the Supernatural readathon, or Supernatural-athon. This is hosted by Steph Loves 4. I love Supernatural. It is one of my all-time favorite shows. I got into it when season 7 was originally airing is when I had first that was when I first started watching it on I believe it was Netflix is when I first started watching it, and then I just caught up to season 7, dove right in, and never looked back. I really wanted to take part in this one, especially since Supernatural will be coming to an end. I think it's like by the middle of next month it'll be over. I am going to be an emotional mess about that. You know, following these boys for so long is going to break my heart. But I am very excited for this one. There are some great prompts. This is going to be the first time that I'm not going to do every prompt on the list. There are 2 prompts where I'm just not really sure about. One of these books might tie in because you can double up. So if one of these books or one of the other books that I'm reading for the month tie into this, I will throw it onto here as a completion, but one of these for sure I won't be doing, and that's just because it's a genre that I do not read, and I'm going to take my own little spin on it, even though it's not going to count towards the readathon, but I'll get into that later. I had to throw on some plaid because our boys love their plaid, but let's get started because this is a pretty big TBR. Since this is 1 prompt for every season, they are currently on season 15, so we've got 15 prompts to go through, as well as a group book. I'm very excited for the group book. I had already had it on another TBR, and when I saw that this was the group book, I was very excited because it's a big boy. And that is going to be The Diviners by Libba Bray. If you watched any of my other TBRs from this month, I've already read this. This will be a reread for me, but it was a 5-star book for me. I absolutely adored it, and I want to get into the rest of the series. So I was planning on rereading this at some point anyway, and this just worked out. This is a supernatural book that has very horror elements to it. I really love the creepy feel to it when I first read it. We follow the story of a girl named Evie who has these powers, and they get her in trouble, and she's sent to New York during the 20s to go live with her uncle. But he runs this museum that is dedicated to supernatural and occult type things. She gets into a bunch of trouble. There is also this monster that goes around and gets people in their sleep. It was really cool. Like I said, I absolutely adored this book, so I'm very excited to get back into it again, especially because I want to finish the rest of the series now that it's all out and I can. I'm very, very excited for that. So hopefully, I'm hoping this still stays as a 5-star. I haven't reread very many books lately, but this is one that I've definitely wanted to, but since it is a very, very chunky boy, I think it's just under 600 pages, I just haven't picked it up. But this feels like the perfect time to do it. I have 4 very, very big, they are tomes, let's be real, on this readathon, so I'm a little nervous about that, but they're all ones I'm super excited for, so there we go. There's number 1. We are able to double up, triple up on prompts. I am going to be doing that since this is such a big book. I wanted it to count towards more, and it definitely worked out for me, so you will see this one again in a bit. Okay, so we're going to start. Like I said, each one of these prompts ties into an episode from one of the seasons. These seasons go in order. So for prompt number 1, we're going for season 1, and that is Devil's Trap, symbol on the cover. This worked out perfect because the symbol on the cover goes perfect with the Devil's Trap, and that is going to be We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. I absolutely adore Grady Hendrix. This is the only one of his books that I haven't read. I've had it, but I just haven't had a chance to pick it up yet. This worked out perfect, and as you can see in the corners, they have some pentagrams, so I am super excited to get to this one. The edition I have has these really cool like black edges. The freaking inside is red. Like, this thing is so fuck yeah, rock on. And I feel like this ties into Dean very well, since Dean we know is a rock fan, so I'm very excited for this one. This follows a band that sell their souls so that they can, you know, make it as legends. And that's all I really know. Like, I didn't want to go into this one. I've went into all his other books blind and I've really enjoyed it, and any type of like sell your soul to the devil to be good with music is like hell yeah for me, so I can't wait. And I felt like this fit Supernatural so perfect, since we do have the Crossroads episodes where they deal with Crossroads demons, where they do sell your soul, and one of the persons did, you know, they followed the legend of it, and one of them did sell their soul to become a good guitar player. So hell yeah, I thought this just fit in magnificently. Alright, so prompt 2, season 2 is All Hell Breaks Loose, a book with a supernatural being. I am going to be going with the Diviners. There is a supernatural creature that feels like it would be in an episode of Supernatural. Like I said, this book is going to pop up quite a bit, but yeah, I felt like it fit perfect for this, and like I said, for a book this chunky, I'm getting it on this TBR as much as I can. And season 3, prompt 3, is Mystery Spot. Do a reread, because in the episode Mystery Spot, Sam is forced to live Tuesday over and over and over again. I absolutely love time loops. So for reread, this was a no-brainer. The Diviners by Bray. This, like I said, will be the second time I am reading this, so it worked out perfect for me. Okay, so for season 4, prompt 4, we are doing Yellow Fever, and that is to read a comedy, horror, or thriller. I love comedy horror, and this is honestly one of the best episodes of the entire season. It is so freaking funny. For this one, I am going to be going with The Unnoticeables by Robert Brockway. I don't really know too much about this. I had looked up books that were horror comedies, and this one popped up, and I had already had it. I bought it a while ago. I really like the cover, and it has to do with the 70s punk scene. I am a huge punk fan. Some of my favorite bands are The Clash, The Ramones, it used to be the Sex Pistols, but fuck the Sex Pistols. But I love punk music. I grew up on it and everything. That was like one of my first really introductions into getting into my own type of music was punk. This follows the story of there are angels and demons. They abduct people who they feel don't quite fit, like something's wrong. There is this boy named Carrie in 1977. He is living in New York during the height of the punk scene, and he notices that people keep going missing. He doesn't know why, but he notices that these other people that are around that just have really unnoticeable faces are the reason these people are going missing. And then we jump forward to a second timeline, I believe, that takes place in 2013 with a woman named Caitlin who's came to Hollywood, and she's kind of noticing these weird shit going on as well. I don't know how their stories tie together or anything, but I've heard that this is supposed to be really funny after I looked into it. I cannot wait. Music is a huge thing for me. Punk is a huge thing for me. Horror is one of my favorite, and comedy horror are one of my other favorites. So I have really going into this, not with super high hopes, because I don't like to put that kind of, pressure on it, but it is definitely something that has so many elements that I feel like I'm going to absolutely love. So I'm very, very excited for it, and I can't wait to get into this one. I have the second book in the series. I think there's like 3 or 4 in the series, but I am really pulling for this one, like I said, because it just has so many elements that I'd like, and I feel like it fits this prompt perfect. So here we go. Here's to hoping. Okay, so for season 5, prompt 5, it's Changing Channels, which is to read a book that has been made into a a TV or movie adaptation. This one was one of the books that I wanted to get to no matter what this month. I was going to read it solo without on any TBRs or anything, but I actually had this prompt assigned to a different book. But when I'm like, okay, this fits on it, and it's a heifer, and I should get it put onto something, I felt it, and that is the very, very, very chunky boy, It by Stephen King. This has been made into a movie twice. I love the original movie. I've always wanted to get to the book. This is like one of the books that are on like my bucket list of books you need to read before you die, and I've always wanted to. I had the hardcover years ago, but that shit was just so heavy I could not pick it up. I am going to be doing the audiobook as well as following along with this one, because whew, I think with the audiobook it'll help. Look at this thing. It is literally the size of my freaking head. Look at that. But yeah, if you don't know what it is about, I don't know what to say. Like, how do you not know? But this follows a group of kids, and they are getting, like, haunted by this evil clown. This is the book that most people will say that they were afraid of clowns for. I grew up watching it as a very young child, like probably younger than I should have been, and I always adored it. It was just one of the coolest movies for me. Pennywise has always been one of my absolute favorite horror icons. So to finally be diving into this, I'm very, very, very excited, and I'm glad I was able to put it on to a TBR to tie into a readathon. I probably could have put it on every single one of them, but I kind of wanted to space out my books a little more than so many crossovers. So here we go. Wish me luck, because I'm going to need it. Okay, so for season 6, prompt 6, it's French Mistake, and that is to read a sci-fi. I am very glad I was able to get this on here. This is like one of the only books that I have on this readathon that isn't like a straight kind of like horror. The rest of these do have horror elements into it. I know the first book had some horror elements. I don't know if it crosses over into this one. I'm very much hoping it does. And I absolutely loved book 1. It was phenomenal. It blew my freaking mind. And that is going to be Jamina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the second book in the series. The first book is Illuminae. Like I said, I found that book just phenomenal. I did a audiobook while completely following along with the book, and that was like honestly the best way to do that book. It's an experience. I'm going to be doing the same with this one. I'm very, very excited for it, even though I know that in this one that we follow different characters than the first one. I am very scared about that fact because I loved the characters from the first one so much. So to be getting different characters is a little hurting my heart. This is a full-on sci-fi. Like I said, the first one has horror elements. I'm hoping there are some horror elements in this one, because that's what really just kind of made that book just sink its claws into me. It follows the story of some teenagers that are living on a well, the first one is they're on a spaceship. They are running away because their planet was attacked, and there is a virus going around. I'm not quite sure what this one is about. I want to go in blind, and I can't really talk about it because I don't want to spoil the first one, even though we follow different characters. I know that it does kind of have crossover with it, but yes, I cannot wait. I've been dying to get into this one, so I am raring and ready for this one. I cannot wait to get into it. Alright, so season 7, prompt 7 is Death's Door, a sad book. Let me just say that Death's Door is one of the few times I have ever just truly broke down and cried. I sobbed for like an hour after that fucking episode ended. Like, it was for personal reasons as well, that like it just was a very weird time to be watching that episode, and I am still not okay with that episode. Like, I have rewatched the show a couple times, and I will always skip that episode because I can't deal with it. Like, I'm an emotional mess about that book. With that note, though, this is one of the prompts where I'm going to be skipping. I don't know if one of these other books might tie in as being a sad book. I don't generally read sad books, and even if I do, they don't really usually hit with me as a sad book, and I don't want to do a reread since I'm already rereading The Diviners. So this is the one where if one of these other books ties into it, I will slap it on there during the, you know, my vlog and stuff, and I'll tell you like, hey, this is, you know, going to double up as a sad book. But from there, though, I don't, like I said, I don't find books all that sad. Like, I've only cried, I think, 4 times in my life. I've read a lot of books, and so, yeah. So this one, I don't know. I'm skipping it for now. Like I said, if one of these ties in, then it ties in. But for now, this is a cop-out. Sorry. Okay, so season 8, prompt 8, we are looking at LARP and the Real Girl. This is a queer fantasy. I was wanting to tie in horror elements as well. Like I said, I really want to keep as much of the horror as I can. This one came up when I looked up queer horror fantasy books. If it is horror, I don't actually know. That is Wilder Girls by Rory Powers. This is another book that is very polarized. I've seen people either really love this one or they absolutely hated it. I've never really seen a middle ground for it. I have wanted to read it for quite a while. I know this follows like some girls that live in a like boarding school, and then there's like a pandemic or like a virus that goes around and they're all affected. I've heard it, like I said, when I looked up queer books, it came up, so I don't actually know if you know, the queer romance is the main romance or if it's not. But I'm very excited for this one, just because I really want to see how I like it or not. Because like I said, I love polarized like books, because this is like, okay, like, why do some people like it? Why do some people hate it? And am I gonna like it or am I gonna hate it? It really helps me like find people that have similar taste to me. I think that's one of the main reasons why I really like polarized books, because it's easier for me to pick out like, okay, we have something in common. So I can't wait to find out how I like this one. I'm going in completely open to it. I'm not expecting very much. Like I said, I just want to see how it goes. So there we go. Okay, the next one is season 9, prompt 9, and that is Dog Dean Afternoon, and that is a book featuring an animal. This one, it has an animal-like creature, and I'm going to count it, and that is going to be Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. I already talked about this book in the Scream readathon, I believe it was. I started this book months, and I mean months and months and months and months ago. I got the first 50 pages I fucking hated. Like, I will fully say the first 50 pages are some of the most dense, boring fucking pages I've ever read in my life. I did not care. I almost put it down. But I was determined to get through this because it has everything that I would like. And everyone that says they liked it are people that I trust. And I've been dying to get back in. I made it originally to about 150 pages, and when she finally gets, this follows the story of a girl named Mia who wants to be a assassin. She makes her way to this school that treats assassins like it's like a religion almost, and she makes her way to this school. When she finally gets to the school is where it picked up, and I was really getting into it, but by that time though, I just had enough of it. Like, I was just like, I need to take a break. I kept trying to pick this back up again and I just couldn't. I eventually put in a request for a audiobook from my library. Since this wasn't available on Scribd, I put that in like 12 or 13 weeks ago. It finally came in, so I plan on reading this. I'm going to make my way through it. I have no doubt that I'm going to like the rest of it, because now that it picked up, I remember really starting to get into it, but by then I just was so sick of the characters and stuff. Like, I don't care. That first 50 pages was just awful for me, but I am determined to finish this. I have no doubt it's going to probably end up being like a 4-star. I can't give it 5 at this point just for how much I hated the first 50. Like, it's unforgivable, like how boring I found those first 50 pages. Because this has like little cliff notes on the bottom that just did not need to be there. They added absolutely nothing to the story. It ruined the narrative and I hated it so much. But switching over to the audiobook, I have a feeling I'm going to like it a lot more. So far, every book that I've DNF'd and came back to with an audiobook, I have liked. The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle and what was the other book? There was one other one that I turned around and did an audiobook for, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm hoping I really enjoy the audiobook for this one as well. But I'm excited for it. I am determined to finish this book this month. Like, I am going to finish this book no matter what. I'm going to make it the first book I read this month because I need to finish it. I cannot have this looming over me for the rest of my life. Because like I said, I know I'm going to like it. So there we go. Alrighty, so season 10. Prompt 10 is fan fiction, and that is to read a book featuring fan fiction. This is going to be another book that I'm not, another prompt that I'm not going to be doing, or I'm not going to do it in the traditional sense. I have read 3 books that feature fan fiction. Fangirl, what was it? Eliza and Her Monsters, and then I Kissed Alice. Eliza and Her Monster I really liked, but I liked the fact that it dealt with anxiety and, you know, things like that, like mental health issues. I really enjoyed that. But when it came to like the actual fan fiction, I think because it was like based more on a totally made up thing, that I was able to like it. But with Fangirl, I absolutely fucking hated that book, and I hated the like Harry Potter like fan fiction that was going on. I didn't care. And then When I Kissed Alice, that one follows, that one was a DNF for me. I didn't like the romance or anything in it, but I really hated the Alice in Wonderland fan fiction was going on. I found that I am someone that loves fan fiction. I have read thousands, and I mean thousands and thousands of fan fiction in my life. I started reading fan fiction when I was about, I want to say 11 or 12 years old, and I am now 31 and I still read it heavily. I read multiple stories a week. I love fan fiction so much. And I have read a lot of supernatural fan fiction. So I think for this prompt, even though it won't count towards the actual prompt, I'll probably just read a supernatural fan fiction, one of my favorites maybe. Because like I said, I just don't enjoy books that really feature it, and I don't know that many books that do feature it. I think there was one more, but it's not a horror type of book at all. I can't remember what it's called, the Extraordinaries or something like that, but I'm trying to stick with all horror books, or as much as I can. And I don't want to buy any more since I'm already buying one book this month for a readathon. So I'm going to be skipping this one, but like I said, I'm probably going to do my own thing and maybe read a supernatural fan fiction, especially since I will be watching the last few episodes of the series, and it's going to get me into my kind of like fan fiction mode where I'm going to want something, because I know I'm not going to get what I want from this damn show. So there we go, skipping that one, but like I said, another cop-out. Okay, so for the next one is going to be season 11, prompt 11, and that is Baby. Read a book with a vehicle on the cover. This was so damn hard for me. I do not have very many books with, I think I only found one. I think I have two, but the other one doesn't have any kind of thing to do with horror, and I want to read that one next month. So finding a book with a vehicle of any kind, because it said it can be an airplane, it can be a car, it can be a bike, it could be like anything as long as it's a mode of transportation that is not involving your legs. So I finally found one. I just recently bought this one, and it is a horror. I don't really know too much about it. I know it's like there's a TV show on it, apparently. Didn't even know that. So there we go. That is going to be The Terror by Dan Simmons. This takes place in 1845. I'm not big on historical type of things like that, but this does sound pretty cool, and I want to check out the show after I read this if I really like it. This has to do with a crew that are on a ship. That is the vehicle. I am counting it as a vehicle. It's a very old vehicle, but hey, it's got a ship on the cover. And I'm glad I have this edition, because the other edition doesn't have a ship. But there are men that are on board the HMS Terror. They get stuck in the Arctic Circle, and their food is poisoned. They have, terrible landscape, since it is, like the Arctic. And with all of that and the terror of them trying to survive during all this, there is some kind of supernatural creature that is lurking around in the darkness that is picking them off one by one. I love that kind of like being hunted type of vibe, so I'm very excited for this one. I don't know much about it. I haven't heard it mentioned very often or anything. I've never even heard of the TV show, so I am really excited to dive into this, and like I said, if I like it, I'll definitely check out the TV show, and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, so for season 12, prompt 12, we're regarding Dean, a book featuring witches, wizards, sorcerers, sorceresses. It doesn't matter as long as they are magic wielding. I am going to be going with The Ballad of Black Tom. This is a reimagining of H.P. Lovecraft's The Red Hook, told from the perspective of a black man. He is a hustler who kind of goes around pretending to be a musician. This takes place in 1924 in Harlem. I don't know not much about it. I've actually never read Red Hook. I might try getting it in really quick. If not, I'll read it afterwards, because I kind of want to go into this not knowing what to expect. I believe this is like one of his not quite cosmic, like one of H.P. Lovecraft's not quite cosmic horrors that I think, but I'm not 100% sure. This is a novella. It is only like 150 pages. I bought this one on a whim. I saw it in a video. It sounded pretty cool, and then it popped up for, I think I got it on like eBay for a couple bucks. It sounded pretty cool, and I'm trying to get a little more into H.P. Lovecraft, and this seems like a really cool one. I do like reimaginings of H.P. Lovecraft, so I can't wait to see how this one goes. But I know that he, the main character, what's his name? Charles Thomas Tester, he is tasked with visiting a sorceress to deliver a book. So like I said, I'm going into this one pretty freaking blind, but I'm excited to see where it goes. And since it is so small, I don't like to know too much about novellas because it's really easy to spoil parts. So here is to hoping that this one is a really cool one. Okay, season 13, prompt 13 is Supernatural. This is one of the best episodes ever. It is a episode where the boys get sucked into a TV and they end up joining the gang of Scooby-Doo. It is so much fun, and it takes such a kind of like dark turn. It was really, really cool. I really loved it. The prompt for this one is to read a graphic novel. I have been dying to get into this one, and I was saving it for October. I've started it, I only got a couple pages in, and I put it down because I really wanted to get for it for this month. It is a chunky boy, but I'm able to get through graphic novels in really short time. Like I can finish a normal graphic novel in about 30 minutes or so. So this one, it's going to take me a little longer because it is a lot bigger, but I'm excited for it. And that is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. This is going to be the very first book by him that I've ever read. Like I said, I started it. I only got a few pages in, but I am very excited for this. This follows, there is this town where it's cursed. It's in Japan. It's cursed. People see these swirls and they lose their fucking mind. The artwork is insane. It's very horror, very gore filled. I cannot wait to get into this one. I'm probably going to start this one. I'm going to start Nevernight first because I'm determined to finish that damn book, but this is probably going to be second on my list so I can kind of make my way through it pretty fast. I'm very excited for it. I've heard so many good things about it, and I love horror comics, so yes. It is a chunky boy. I'm a little nervous about it, but I cannot wait to get into it. So season 14, prompt 14 is Lebanon, and that is a book with a family. I was originally going to go with The Diviner since I'm using a family prompt for the Hocus Pocus, I think it is. But I wanted something a little different, and I have always wanted to read this book because the movie is one of my absolute favorite classic kind of horror thrillers, and it is one of the main reasons why I never wanted to be a parent. I saw this movie as a very young kid and it freaked me the fuck out, and that is Rosemary's Baby by Levin. I have always wanted to read this one. I love the movie so much. I watch that movie a couple times every year because it makes me so uncomfortable. I do not like pregnancy. It freaks me out, and I remember watching it as a kid, and the whole thing of when she gets pregnant and everything freaked me the hell out. If you don't know what Rosemary's Baby is about, you literally are missing out, and I don't understand how you've gone this far in your life. Rosemary Baby follows a woman named Rosemary who is married to a actor. They end up moving into this new like apartment building, and her husband makes a deal with these people, and Rosemary ends up pregnant and weird shit starts happening. Like I said, you have to know what this is about. Like, there's no way you don't know what this is about, but I've always wanted to read the book, and I feel like this is just like the perfect kind of prompt for this, a book about family. It's one of the most fucked up families, but hey, it is a family. I can't wait to get into this. I have no idea how it compares to the movie, if we're going in for like a Shining kind of adaptation where they're like very different but very, you know, independent of each other and very good. But I cannot wait to read this one. I am very, very excited for it. So for the last prompt, which is going to be for season 15, prompt 15, that is Carry On My Wayward Son. That is to read a book that is the next in a series. This is going to be the last book in a series. I felt like it was very fitting. I was going to go with something else, but this just felt very, like I said, this is a series that I really enjoy. It's a great horror series. I feel like it would fit in with Supernatural perfect because every book is like a monster of the week type of thing. So I am going to be going with The Final Descent by Rick Yancey. This is the last book in the Monsterologist series. We follow the story of a boy named Will Henry. When he was a boy, he lived in like Victorian, I believe they're like near New York. I can't remember exactly where he's at, but when he's older, they find his journals in his assisted living home after he passed away. He had told everybody he was 130 years old. When they go through the journals, they start seeing his stories of how he grew up working for the monsterologist named Dr. Warthrope because his parents were both killed. He is the assistant for Dr. Warthrope, who studies different monsters. The second book, which is my favorite in the series, is they follow a Wendigo, which, yes, I love Wendigos. I love anything with like cannibalistic kind of creatures. I don't know what this one's about. Since it's the last in the series, I don't want to really say anything of what it's about either because it could spoil the other books in the series. But I want to go in blind, just like I'm going into the last episode blind, this last part of the season. I am like devastated, but I felt like this, The Final Descent, the final episode, the final season, it fits perfect. So yes, I'm very excited for this one. I can't wait to see what the creature is or what goes on in this one because, like I said, I really enjoy the series so much. So there we go. That is my Supernatural TBR. I am very excited for this one. This is the biggest TBR that I have for this month. I cannot wait to get into these. There are some great books on here, and there's definitely a lot of these that I'm super looking forward to. I felt like a lot of these really fit in with the show Supernatural as well. I wanted to kind of tie them in really well. So that is where I am at. If you are taking part, I'd love to know. If you're a Supernatural fan, I'd love to know. I'd love to know your thoughts going into this last part of the series. I'm devastated, but yeah. Got my boys right there. So there we go. That's what's what. I hope you like this, and I will catch up with you guys later. Bye.